Capricorn, this is Madeline here to give you a astrological report for the month of April 2025. And the month starts out with a big, loud eclipse in your fourth house, which means something is shifting big in your living situation. You could be suddenly moving, could be because of a job or ending of a relationship, but you have to move or change your living environment. And it is much more, wherever that you end up, it's much more in alignment with your higher calling, your soul's journey. And often eclipses in the fourth house can pertain to a mother passing, but what is definitely ending in these eclipses is some sort of karmic patterning, some sort of ancestral wounding that because the fourth house is about mother wounding. So there's some sort of shift in that department where you're ending a cycle of the ancestral wounding, and you're no longer allowing these patterns to repeat in your life. So this is a big, big shift for Capricorn. And then the sun moves into your fifth house in 419 on the 19th. A lot is happening in the mid-month where we're going to see a lot of major shifts and changes. But for Capricorn, the sun moves into your fifth house, which would indicate new friends, new beginnings around. There's going to be a new moon there at the end of the month where there's some sort of auspicious new beginning involving meeting new people, making new friends. It could be a romantic relationship, but some sort of a collaborative effort, creative collaborative projects where you actually do see a financial future and earnings and stability, because right now whatever these shifts are occurring in our lives are to align us with a stable new financial beginning and future that lasts a good 29 to 30 years. So we're really being shifted to a our lives are shifting to our fated, destined, stable future. And then we have like Mercury. Okay, I'm going to do that one more time. Hey Capricorn, Madeline here to give you an astrological report for April, for the sign of Capricorn for April 2025. Hey Capricorn, this is a report for your sign for April 2025, and the month starts out with a loud big eclipse in your fourth house, which would indicate some sort of major shift in your living situation, suddenly having to move. It can pertain to other things happening in your chart. Maybe a job moves you, maybe a relationship moves you, or a parent passes away or something, but mothers can pass away on eclipses in the fourth house, or you're ending a cycle of ancestral wounding and sort of stopping a cycle that has been going on in wounded feminine energy throughout your ancestry. And this is a big, because these eclipses are big karmic clearing of energies so that we're basically have a clean slate for these big new beginnings that are occurring when Saturn and the nodes meet this month, which I will talk about. So basically this eclipse is really shifting your living situation into much more aligned environment and living situation that is more in alignment with your authentic journey, your soul's journey, your destiny, and your highest potential. And then when the sun moves into Taurus in the middle of the month, a lot of shifts are happening in the middle of the month, but the sun moves into your fifth house in the sign of Taurus on the 19th. Plus we have a new moon in your fifth house on the 27th, which pertains to new friendships, new acquaintances, perhaps romantic relationships coming in, and perhaps from the past a return, because we have Venus and Mercury in retrograde. But these are auspicious new beginnings that involve financial, new creative projects that bring a lot of stability and financial security for the long haul. And with Mercury and Venus currently in the third house in retrograde, you're doing a lot of reflecting on what you really want. And oftentimes energies in Pisces in retrograde can bring shame or regret about the past and about relationships and connections that didn't work. But really what you're discovering is what you do truly desire. And it's moving in, those planets are moving into your fourth house. So there's a good chance you return to a relationship from the past and perhaps cohabitate or get involved with partnerships, collaborative living situations that are very in alignment with your destiny, because the nodes are conjoining Saturn in the house of Pisces while this is happening. So this reflective energy is putting you in the energy that puts you on the right strategic path for these auspicious new beginnings that are occurring this month. So Mars is I did Venus going into your fourth, which would indicate perhaps cohabitation with a partner, a relationship, a shall we say romantic relationship could turn into cohabitation at this point, or the planning of, or the potential of that grows. Then we have Mars in your seventh, which is in Cancer, which would have been a challenge in relationships and emotional sort of outbursts and sensitivity and wounding. But really what's happening for Capricorn is you're healing some sort of deep-seated wounding from mother that is causing problems in your relationship. So this is some sort of revelation or understanding developing around that. So that's enabling you to prepare for union with a divine counterpart, where your soul mission and your soul contract will come into reality now. Or shall we say into the picture, into the scene of your life, because then Mars moves into your eighth house, which can indicate strong, it's a relationship transit, which could indicate physical connections, intimacy, but also joint resources and finances. And it's in the sign of, it would be in the sign of Leo. So that would be a lot of inspiration and energy and sort of confidence about taking some sort of auspicious new beginning, or landing in a relationship that feels really right, and you're feeling very motivated and excited about this, because this is going to happen mid-April, all around the same time as that sun moves into your fifth house, so there's relationships coming in here, and this could be a superficial friendship, but the way the nodes are acting and the Saturn is acting, I think any relationship that begins or starts right now is probably your destined long-term relationship. But sometimes fifth house relationships can just be superficial. But I think with Mars having been in your seventh house, you're really healing some sort of relationship wounding issues where you're kind of needy in relationships. And so that's sort of healing out of you. So that's going to have you be a more stable, not as, shall we say, emotionally volatile to get into a relationship. So you're sort of grounded and able to sort of be more stable in relationships in general, emotionally stable. And then with Jupiter in your sixth house, again, this would be a lot of learning and focusing on service, on how to be of service in a dharmic way, in a way that is your true path. So in other words, you've been really learning and trying to sort of, I would say, grow more in connection, or let's just say your how to be of service, and trying to align how to be of service with your dharma and who you truly are. So you're trying to learn how to sort of transform your work and expand it in a way that really aligns more with a way of being of service that really fulfills you and feels like your true path. And by the way, when Jupiter moves into your seventh house of relationship in June 9th, that's when the relationship really goes forward. There's going to be a really good auspicious energy in a relationship, because that's an exalted Jupiter. And so that really expands your relationship in a very positive way. So that's a really good time for you. And that indicates collaborative dharmic soul contracts as well. When you have Jupiter in your sixth house, usually that means your dharma and your purpose aligns with another person and their dharma and their purpose, and you align together, and it's soul contract. These are fated, destined connections coming in that take you in alignment to your calling and your purpose, and the way that you're here to really be of service in a way that aligns with your dharma. And then we have Saturn in your third house. These Pisces third house things, they're really dissolving your old perceptions, what you know, what you've done for work, are dissolving away. And you're really evolving more into a, shall we say, authentic path. But your whole life is just, everybody's lives are dissolving away, old lives, because we're ending a cycle with that Pisces, Saturn and Pisces. So we're really closing out a very long cycle, past life cycle. And we're initiating we're starting with a new fresh slate when Saturn moves into Aries in your fourth house, where you're going to be really initiating a whole new structure. Your whole life is going to start developing a new structure in a new home and in a new living environment. new family, all of that. And you're sort of building from scratch, as it is a whole new life, a whole new work, new relationship, and new living situation. This is a very, very, whenever we have eclipses in the angular houses, it shifts our whole lives in all directions. Shifts your work, your relationship, your living situation, and your identity will change too. But with the third house, it has a lot to do with perceptions and what we thought and what we and so there's a lot of shifting in your perceptions and also internal dialogue, like shifting a lot of because it's in Pisces, so there's a karmic cycle happening in your third house, which would involve your processing, your thinking that is not conducive or not helpful to your success. And that has to and it probably stems from the mother wounding because the eclipse is there in your fourth. So it's part of that healing, the Cancer healing, where there's some sort of inner dialogue that's probably been given to you from your family of origin and mother, which you now have to dissolve and work on and shift so that you have a more positive, productive self perception. And then Uranus in your fifth moves into Gemini on the 7th of July, and that's going to go into Gemini, which I think is your sixth house. Did we decide? No, Gemini. Where's Gemini for Capricorn again? Oh, Gemini's your sixth house, of course. So yeah, um, this would indicate that whatever friends or whatever this new moon that brings in Taurus and the sun moving into Taurus and then Uranus being there, by the time Uranus moves, it leaves your house, the fifth house at 7, you're going to feel a very strong, stable financial future and liberated and feeling like you've got a steady path and that then you can really start to work and focus of being effective in service, being very effective in service. Neptune is going to be in your fourth house for 14 years. I have to go and see exactly how long Neptune's going to be in Aries for, but a long time, giving you a divine living environment and a very creativity around where you live or spirituality at maybe even working at home or doing spiritual practices or creative practices from a living environment. Kind of feels like you go live in some sort of commune here. Capricorn, or you move into a different community with that eclipse. There's a completely different community that's more spiritually aligned, and there's creativity, a very strong creative, shall we say, creative aspect to this new life and to this new tribe or new people that you live around or more new friends. This is all sort of held together by a creative interest or spiritual like-mindedness. And then with Pluto in their second house, you're going through a major transformation around your finances, which I'll go more into in another reading. But I really want to focus more on the North Node here, conjoining Saturn on the April 14th. Saturn and the North Node meet together April 14th at 26 degrees of Pisces, where you literally see a whirlwind of shifts and changes. It's in your third house, so it could make you very suddenly have to take a lot of short distance travel, a lot of communication, a lot of talking, a lot of perhaps ending of a whole old website or social media platform maybe goes away, and in a sudden flash, you start a new one, or you just change the name of your social networking and your social media, but some kind of big shift happens in your media houses in perhaps writing or communicating and talking. But a lot of times, third house, this is a big wind of change when Rahu, and this is 30-year cycle meets an 18-year cycle. The last time these two planets were together in the sign of Pisces was 1870. So it's like we're really seeing a very big commitment, a big choice being made. But this involves a lot of communication, a lot of ideas, and perhaps, you know, this is going to shift the people that are around you on a day-to-day. You're really shifting your neighborhood. This is another sign that shows moving somewhere, but now you become very, shall we say, in a new neighborhood, in a new environment that is very stable and sets you up for a long haul or a long time. Or let's just say if traveling is the energy of this, if you don't set up into your exact spot, this is the transit that sets you in the course that lands you in your long-term correct environment, neighborhood. But also a business. You could start a business, but whatever happens in this third house is a shift that shifts you much more into your authentic destiny and aligns you with this new, I'm going to say, focused on these creative endeavors. So perhaps you start a new website, a new social media platform that advertises and promotes this new financial beginning and creative projects that are happening with this new groups of friends or people that you're encountering in this month. Now we have this full moon in your 10th house of career, where you do see perhaps the ending of one career, and or oftentimes full moon in the 10th house can give you a promotion, and you leave the other position, or you quit completely one career and you start another career. And this one involves a partnership because it's in Libra, and it can involve perhaps a fated romantic relationship, because sometimes full moons in the 10th house changes your static from single to married or engaged or in a serious commitment. But the main thing this full moon brings is a collaborative partnership type of a career shift, where you become upgraded in your social standing and you're sort of respected more for something that you do, or you step into a career again that is way more in alignment and more fulfilling, that utilizes your true gifts more and gives you better success and more social recognition. And then with the new moon in that fifth house on the 27th of April at 7:47 degrees Taurus, again, this is a brand new, these are these new creative auspicious projects that begin involving people that you have encountered, new people that you meet, new relationships, romantic relationships that pulls you into a soul contracted mission. Your dharmic, it's sort of like your dharmic path is going to unfold now, and you're really stepping into it, and this old life completely is gone, and there's the shedding of this old skin. And it's basically a new you coming into the world with I mean, like, everything is new: living situation, your identity, your job, and your relationships. Because I mean, you've got that full moon in your 10th house, which is just entirely the cardinal axis point, which completely connects with that Aries shift from your fourth, where you move, and that probably shifts you into another career, or vice versa. Career makes you move, or the career full moon happens as a result of you having raised your vibrations out of ending something or moving from that eclipse in your fourth house. So I hope that is clear and helpful, and have a wonderful month. All right, namaste.